Oh, what's up, YouTube? This is fucking my video on being yourself. And I'm gonna fucking make this on December 20th, but it won't. I don't know when it's going up. It doesn't matter. It's now, when you're watching this. So are you being yourself? Are you being genuine, authentic with your intuitive desires? Are you pursuing the things that make you happy, but also are not oppressing others? Are you consistent with the way that you want to act? Do you follow and respect the patterns of complexity that you seek to understand? We can ask the question why, but that's conceptual, and that there is no answer. The question why continuously breeds this curiosity that develops you. But for me, the more important question is, are you content? And I'm not saying that, because for me, the idea of being content is kind of like a solution. You tell me I'm right, and my brain will fucking freak out, because I know that there is no long-term objective answer. Things change. Discoveries are made. Something happens. There's nothing that's content in reality. But when I ask you, or whomever, are you content? It means in this moment, do you have internal conflict or external conflict? Something. Is there something bothering you? Is something going against your natural flow of order? And if it is, my art teacher, Miss O'Neill, taught me something. And this was in regards to art, so I'll just tell you what she said, and then I'll integrate it in my own thoughts. When I fucked up in ceramics class, and I made a mistake, or I had this thought or something that I had manifested that I was not content with, I was not in the moment satisfied with, I had conflict, turmoil with, she told me two things. She told me I can take a step back, basically, and simplify the thought. She said, you have two options. She said, you can either change the way you think about it, or you can change the way it is. And that's the brain. Or that's life. That's whatever. That's you. That's us. That's what we're doing. So you can, if there's something going on that is potentially, I hate the human language sometimes. I just wish I could communicate these thoughts without having the limitations of my own awareness of the language, and the language itself is limited because they don't have the words for the way that I'm trying to say. But are you satisfied? Are you resonating, harmonizing with the interpretation that you're currently having? If not, you have to tune the string, or you have to learn internally how to interpret the current vibration sound as something of satisfaction. So when she said, when Miss O'Neill looked at me and said, you can change the way you think about it, there's two ways. So you're stuck in this paradigm of I'm something, conflict, problem, chaos, turmoil. You can either simplify it, take a step back and say, well, look at, so if I scratched a bowl wrong, I can be like, I can just look at that little scratch as a little imperfection that's perfect. I can, just stop asking so many questions, basically, and return to this kind of simplistic interpretation that wouldn't bring conflict, because you're not overstanding and over interpreting, or you can build complexity from that initialization, and from that initialization you can, or from that interpretation, you can have this more complex pattern. So say if I scratch the bowl, I can mentally see it in a way that is now added to. I can make a story into the scratch or something. It can be this thing that's not just this conflict. And now when she said, and now the same rule of balance that I call, this threefold balance of life that I always use and kind of refer to, the same pattern is utilized when she said you can change the way that you can change it. If it's still something that's malleable, you can physically alter it so that your brain can interpret it differently. So if I had a little scratch, I could go and scratch some more all over the bowl, and it would make it into this pattern that, that's not just this one definite scratch. Or I could, that's the complexity situation that's fixing it. Or I could simplify the scratch and potentially try to, color it in or smooth it over or do, some sort of, I can hide it in a way that's, more simple. So it's this internal wave of vibration that is, or it sounds so new agey, but that's the only terms that seems to fucking actually work. Is we have this interpretation currently of the now that is conflictive, undesirable, something, and that we wish to simplify, or we wish to adapt, not simplify, that's not what I meant to say, but we wish to adapt so that the turmoil and the internalness, or external, whatever, so that the interpretation of it could be manipulated so it's not so problematic with the vibration of thinking, so we can ride the waves smoothly and not have little bumps in the waves that are stopping us, little speed bumps. We can drive, quickly, swiftly. We can go in the way that we need to without having interruptions of, unnecessary conflict that is internally bred because that we're not satisfied in the moment, or we don't know how to be disciplined enough to be satisfied. I don't know.